Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang Dhammang Sanghang Namasami. It's one of the skills we all need to learn, whether you are just an anagarika, whether you are a young or an old novice, or a samaneri, or a bhikkhuni or a bhikkhu, whether you're leading a monastery, or whether you are just organizing the rosters, whether you are sweeping. We all have our family members, and we all have duties from time to time that we cannot avoid. And of course, that is something which is very clear in my life. Literally, the buck stops here. And so there's many, many things which you have to do, and sometimes I think, some days are just so busy. But then again, even on busy days, even on times when there's lots of stuff going on, there's still these opportunities which I have learnt to take, to grasp, because I have to, is to take those opportunities just to let go. Of course, that's an easy word to say, but you train yourself and it's so important. Some of you may think, just later on in life when I become a nice senior nun or a senior monk, I just take it easy. Sometimes I can just retire and just let other people wash my bowl and just go into a little hut and just be served and looked after. But life doesn't allow you to do that, but you can still retire from the world. And that retirement from the world is just where we learn just to do our duties and give those duties everything we can. And always knowing that no matter how much we do our duties, they will never be complete, they will never be perfect. There'll never become a time where we can say, right, the monastery is built, the book has been written, the Vinaya text has been completed, this electricity work in a monastery is now just all finished and all run perfectly for forevermore. It never works like that. So after a while, it drops on you that this life is imperfect. It's its very nature for things to go wrong. It's part and parcel of samsara. It doesn't spin around in a, what you might call it, in a balanced spinning circle. It wobbles, and it grinds, and it groans, and it feels like it needs to have some oil on it so it goes properly, as it should spin round. The wheels of samsara are always unbalanced. The tires need pumping up. They're worn out. The whole samsaric engine is way past its use-by date. At least if you've just had a birthday recently, you know that's true. But nevertheless, you're still there. And how do we deal with the unfinished business of our day? Not of our life, but of our day. You've got up in the morning, you brushed your teeth, I hope. Yeah, I'm not going to check on you. But what is really important is you do your duties as best you can. And afterwards, then you've done your best. You've given it whatever you've got. And now's the time to let go. What happens with many people, though, the few duties which we have in a monastery, the few duties we have, we do them, but then we make more. And sometimes I look at people and just how much they chat and talk, and how much they get into doing extra stuff, which is not really necessary. And I sometimes say, well, if you want to, and I see people talking after lunch, talking with some of their friends, down in the patio. But you ask them to give a talk at Armadale. No. Hang on. You see people teaching their friends how to meditate. And they're teaching meditation retreat. No. I'm not old enough yet. So sometimes you can see that why do people do this? And people like to have control over their day. And that's one of the big problems here. That you may think you have control over your day, you have a lot of control over your day. When you get up in the morning, take breakfast, you don't take breakfast, the type of breakfast you want to eat, the lunch. And one of the strange things which happens, and when I control my food, in other words, I choose it myself on the arms round. Sometimes I look in my bowl, this is honest, I look at my bowl, after it's been taken up, I say, what did I put that in there for? And I thought, can't I go down again and do it properly this time? But of course it's too late, you can't just do it again. But then comes a time when it's my retreat period and somebody else puts it in my bowl for me. And I enjoy that more than if I chose it myself. I don't know what it is. It's usually Ajahn Brahm does that for me, and I don't know, but you know what I like better than I know what I like. It's weird. But I think I could learn from that. So, Ajahn Brahm, could you please give me some notes what I should put in my bowl? So anyhow, then but then why does that phenomena exist? Because whenever I have the choice and the will, there's always something wrong with that. There's always something which spoils it when I do it my way. Even meditating your way. And instead of just letting go and surrendering and just being surprised when I open my bowl and see what's in it. Ooh, that's nice. Or when you just sit down, meditate, you let go, and wow, that was a nice nimitta just come up. Where did that come from? Thank you so much. There's something about the fact that when we control our day, we control our life, when we control the people who are below us, or we order around our relations, our kids or whatever, our daughter, whatever, when we order them around and tell them what to do, they usually find that it's unpleasant in all areas. So instead of ordering and using your will, and of course I was talking a lot about the will over at Jhana Grove. The will is suffering. Sankhara is dukkha. And the Buddha kept on saying that again and again and again and again. And the similes we have for the will, the one which I like the best is the simile of the prison guard, the sadistic prison guard, who the last thing they want to see is for you to be quiet and having a happy time, for you to be resting. There was one prisoner when I used to go and teach in jails, one prisoner who went after the meditation class. This was over in Canning Vale, I think it's called Casuarina now. No, that's not Casuarina. What's it called? Well, the prison in Canning Vale, Hakea. Thank you. And he came up to me after the class and said, "Please, Ajahn Brahm, please, can you talk to someone in charge in this prison? Because, I'm trying to really get my meditation practice going well. I have lots and lots of time. I get up early in the morning. When I get up early in the morning, just now I sit down and I start meditating. And one of the prison officers, he knows this is what I do. He opens the window into my cell, takes his flashlight. He can see that I'm in there, quiet, peaceful. I'm not escaping or doing anything wrong. But then he shines the light into my face. And it's not a limiter. I know it's a prison guard. And then if that doesn't disturb me, he shines it until, I open my eyes. If that doesn't disturb me, he just rattles the metal casing of the flashlight against the metal bars of this tiny little observation window, makes such a noise until I get up or do something. And once I've moved, then he's happy. And he said, "I'm just trying to meditate." And I said, that's you can call that like will. Will, this is a personification of will, always trying to control people, never wanting you to be peaceful or happy, always throwing something up to disturb you. Will, otherwise known as Mara. Mara, the chief, the head of the realm of the Paranimitta Vasawati, the realm of gods who wield power over other people's creations or stuff. I always call that like the people who get off on controlling others, or on power trips, control freaks. And Mara as the control freak in chief of this universe. And the thing which just really bothers Mara is when they cannot control you. And of course, what did Mara do to the Bodhisattva under the Bodhi tree? Try to control him first of all with lust, and then with fear, with Mara's armies, and then trying to drive you crazy or kill you or destroy you or just entice you with lust. Or the other one was with power, to be the wheel-turning monarch, to set the world right, to create peace and harmony and prosperity in our world. And that's quite alluring for many people. But obviously the Bodhisattva had been there, done that, seen through it, and so was not moved, by Mara. And even to Mara coming to ask the Buddha to justify himself, to prove that he belonged there. And of course they say the Buddha touched the earth, or the Bodhisattva touched the earth and said, all my past karma proves that I was here. But do you feel justice? Sometimes you feel, maybe I'm not really should be in this monastery. Maybe I'm not really the best monk or the best nun. Why am I doing this? I shouldn't be here. I'm taking the place for somebody else. All that blah, blah, blah stuff. That's just you belong here. If you didn't belong here, you wouldn't be here. In other words, that self-doubt is also a part of Mara's tricks. That's all the will to try and control you, to get you to do something, rather than just sitting here, letting go, being still, and relaxing to the max. That word, which is my catchphrase for this year. Soon people will get bored of it, relax to the max. Some of you are probably already getting fed up with relax to the max. But nevertheless, you can see that is what really irritates Mara. Mara, well, that really, please excuse me, pisses Mara off to the max. Relax, you should be doing something. Come and get somewhere. Do something. Don't just sit there and just be, that's lazy. But is it really? Or is it something which goes against this idea of Mara to control people? To control the sadistic prison guard which never lets you be still. And that's some of the reason why people just work so hard, constantly, always doing something. However, even when they're meditating, they're still doing something. They're trying to get enlightened, they're trying to control the breath, they're trying to do something. Trying to understand the nature of the feelings in the body. Trying to, I don't know what they're trying to do, but how about not doing anything? The toughest thing in the world to do. It takes a real man to do nothing. I'm only messing around. A real hero. Or a heroine. This is actually where, and it does do that, because sometimes when everyone else is running around trying to solve the problem, the person who sits still just knows and creates a peaceful atmosphere around themselves, and to spread that peace to others, to slow down, make some peace, because only in that stillness can you have any wisdom. That's one of those great sayings of the Buddha, little one-liners, which, when I heard this, it really hit me hard, that Samadhi pachayang yata buddhayana dasanang. Not sati, not vipassana, Samadhi pachaya yata buddhayana dasanang. Yata buddhayana dasanang, as things really are, as they truly are. Not as you think they are, not as you want them to be, not as you've read that they are, not as they should be, but as they are. And the cause of seeing things as they truly are, they really are, not what you want, not what you don't want, but what really is truthful insight. Truthful insight. Insight which you can rely upon as things really are, is stillness, samadhi. And that's one of the reasons why that always keep pushing on that word samadhi as meaning stillness, not immersion, not concentration. I respect Ajahn Sujato. He's trying his best, but don't make too much fun of it, because you don't want to criticize people and make them feel bad. They're trying their very best. But the idea of stillness, you can understand why stillness allows you to see things as they truly are. It goes against the grain, not what most people do in this world. To get something, they do something. To cross the stream, you've got to work to cross the stream. And that's why that saying that many people run up and down this shore, on this side, few are those who cross to the other side. And again, that's one of those other great similes, which we used to chant that in the first years when I was a young monk. But that idea of why is it running up and down, doing something? And be able to just be still, and then just, how can you ever get across the other stream when you're really still? And it reminds me of one of those old stories of this person, and he's on this side of a big river, and he sees somebody else on the other side of the river. And the other person says, "How do I get across?" And on this side of the river you say, "You are across." That is very deep. It's usually an old joke. I just turn it around to something which is almost like a Zen koan. You are a cross. So if you stop running up and down, you become still, then the distance between you and the opposite side vanishes. You stop measuring. That's one of the reasons why before, I gave the talk when I was sitting up there, Ajahn Santuti asked me, when was the last time you measured yourself, Ajahn Brahm? And I never really answered because I was just settling in here. And of course, the real answer is, there is no measurement. I am immeasurable. How deep is the ocean? So when we learn how to understand all this measuring business, and learn how to understand that that's part of will, doing something. We measure, we assess, we compare, and that gives us something to get and achieve and aim for. I am here, and that's where I want to be. Separation from where you are and where you want to be. And that is where samsara turns. I'm thinking that when I get to that other side, that then I'll get somewhere. Not realizing, when you give up wanting, give up desire, you really do let go, then you already are on the other side. You've crossed. No difference. So this isn't some sort of New Age Zen sort of mumbo jumbo. This isn't really important here. Which is one of the reasons why, I work hard. But when it's time to finish work, I look at, doing the finances or talking to you guys, giving you interviews or whatever, or doing translations or something. And after a while, enough. It's not finished. Great. It never will be finished. And so, I go into my cave. I'll go on a walking path and just walk. No measuring. No wanting. No desire. Let go of that. I'm tired. I'm energized. I'm cold. I'm hot. So what? So you decide not to measure, but to let go of all that stuff which I was taught in the world, what I'm supposed to be. And sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and just, why on earth do people come from overseas and want to take a photo of me? I don't get it, honestly. Why do they want me to sign their books? It's not signing a check. It was signing a check or something. Cash check for $1,000 for Dhammayana Rama. Yeah, that's a good one to get. Why is this? Because people are measuring, and the measuring is just so fake and false. But you're a noble one. How do you know? Are you sure? But, again, that's one of the reasons. People sometimes, they ask these questions, and people who know it a long time, you're trying to be honest with everybody, straightforward, and they ask you, why is it that, you monks, you nuns can't let us know, said the lay people. Who's the scallywags, who's the real meditators? There's one. Because, it's important for us. We can't just give donations everywhere. And we can't sort of, feed everybody. Can you please tell us, who's it worth feeding? Those monks at Scott Road. Come on, Ajahn Brahm, is it really? Do we get more merit feeding them or feeding the nuns at Dhammasara?
Hell yeah.
Where do you get more bang for our bucks? It's called like an investment advisor or analyst. And of course, you don't do that for some powerful reasons. Not just the idea of equality or equity and non-discrimination in the Sangha. There's also something far more than that. It's because you can't. That judging is something, when you really understand what it truly is, it's got nothing to do with the reality of being a meditation. Let all of that stuff go, the judging. Because what happens if you're an anagami? You've still got a lot of work to do, come on, get on with it. It creates some desire. This difference. What is that first noble truth of suffering? Separation from where you want to be. Piyehi vipayogo dukkha. What I want to be, I'm not there. Imagine stopping all of that. So that you do your job, you do your duties, you do your work, and then it's not finished. I've done enough. So you let it go. You sweep around the monastery. You know what happens as soon as you swept around the monastery? Just after you finished, those cockatoos. They come on a branch right above just where you swept. It's not the noise you don't like. It's they make such a mess. And sometimes you think that maybe they just, instead of actually doing the mess first before you're sweeping, they wait. They wait and say, there's Upasama, he's coming past. So we just wait for a few moments. And once you pass and made it nice and clean, then you go for it, the cockatoos. And they tell all the friends, okay, now guys, and they drop all these conky nuts and leaves all over the place. Is that the case? Sometimes it seems like that. Sometimes as if samsara's got it in for you. I was saying that about mosquitoes. It was just, those mosquitoes in Thailand, they would always be bothering you. And you wouldn't mind them just bothering you if they just get it all over and done with. But they were sadistic. I'm sure they were part of Mara's army. Because you get it nice and peaceful. They were saying even just to go to sleep. I don't know if you've had that in your room. I've had that in my cave. I don't know how they get in there. But then you meditate, nice and peaceful, and then you decide to go to sleep, and then there's one mosquito somehow got in the room. And they don't just bite you, they go into your ear. Bzz, 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 bzz. I'm coming for you. Bzz, 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 bzz. You're not going to go to sleep. Bzz, 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 bzz. You want to swap me? You can't, Bzz, 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 bzz. And after torturing you, you let them bite you. And they don't just bite you in one place. They bite you and then you get a little itch and bzz, 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 bzz. They save whatever it is they inject into you to go for another place. I'm sure they belong to Mara. And then afterwards, okay, so they're bitten you and just, then they've had their fill and they go away. And then, just a bit itchy. And then you're about to fall asleep. Bzz, 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 bzz. Another one comes. Where did that one come from? My room is sealed. How do you get in here? Buzz, 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 buzz. I don't know if that's happened too. That's happened to me a few times in my cave. I don't know how they get in. But I'm sure that Mara finds a hole in there somewhere to put them in there just to make you just nice and interested. And anyway, so that's just how you can't control this world. And the more you try and control it, say, get out of here, come on mosquito, get over and done with. That is where the suffering lies. Just the wanting, the controlling. Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to talk to people? Why do I have to write letters? Why do I have to answer these invitations to these? I don't know if, I don't think I've shown a Venerable Santu to this. I got one of these really nice invitations for next year to go to the Australian Ghostbusters conference. And I know the date of it because it's on Halloween's Day 2021. Oh, 2020. Should I go? Should I invite all the dead people in the back room, in the bone room over there to come along? But having a sense of humour allows you to let it go and not take it so seriously. Because if you take your life so seriously and your responsibilities so seriously, you'll find it's hard to let it go. Light-hearted. I remember a top neuroscientist in Thailand, he told me, when I was just hanging out with the Somdet at Wat Tape Su in one day, just before or after lunch there, that he was saying, when I made a little joke, that he'd just been to, I think it was, they had a lot of naval sort of senior people there, and they'd just been on some exercises to the port of Surabaya over in, that was in East Java. And I said, oh yeah, Surabaya, you know what that word means? It means be afraid of alcohol. Sura, abaya. And actually it's not what it means, but it's what it should mean, especially for naval senior officers from the Thai Navy. And they all laughed. And even the Somdet laughed. And the neuroscientist, who was above laughter because he was a professor, he said, oh yes, that very good, Ajahn Brahm, because that shows higher mental functions when you laugh. So all of you who laughed, congratulations, that was the test. You have higher mental functions. Those of you who didn't laugh at that joke, your mental functioning is not that good. You got a chance to catch up. What it means is you can let go of a lot of stuff when you don't take life so seriously. But life is serious. What part of life is serious? All the coming and going, the doing, the struggling and the striving and the squirming and the writhing. What are you doing that for? To get what you want? It really is to get what you want. To get what you think you need. But do you really need that? And sometimes, instead of trying to find an escape or way out, instead of trying to, and a lot of times the escape is doing a lot. People work hard. They do a lot and they don't need to. They do it because it fills in the moments. It fills in emptiness. They got a goal, something, a purpose, something to do in life. But instead, we learn to go in an opposite direction, just to try it. To be able to sit in our rooms with no goal. In other words, we're not trying to cross over. It's like we're already over. we're here. We've made it. A lot of times I remember those early years, I thought, get a nice hall, get a nice monastery, a nice hut. And I do that, I'll sacrifice a lot of my energy, my time, even health, to get it done. And then once it's done, then I can relax and retire. Once I get my monastery, then I'll be happy. That's an old story. I'll put that over in the first book which I wrote. Then I'll be happy. Pass my O levels, then I'll be happy, instead of playing soccer. And actually, that during that my birthday celebrations, Venerable Bodhidharma, he still got that photograph of when I was in the school soccer team. That's in primary school. And it's weird. That was Mr. Jones, the teacher over there, in that photograph. And I always remember him because this is a totally irrelevant anecdote, but I love telling it because my father had the afternoon off school and... No, he didn't have he had the afternoon off work. Yes, better. And I used to go home for lunch and it was just around the corner. I said, oh, such a shame you have to go to school this afternoon. I've got these 2 tickets, free tickets to go to a World Cup soccer qualifier match between England and Poland. I still remember it. It's amazing, my memory, because I remember England won 2-1 and there was this centre forward called Nat Haitley or something. Anyway, it's amazing I remember some things which are totally unimportant, but really important things I keep forgetting. But anyway, I said, I'll ask my teacher, Mr. Jones, if I can go. He said, you can't ask a teacher to take an afternoon off school. That's illegal. Well, I can ask. Asking is not illegal. And he was really fierce. He was like the disciplinarian of the school. And people were afraid of Mr. Jones, but I went up to him and said, Sir, my father's got 2 tickets to go to Wembley this afternoon for a soccer match, big match. Could I go? And he looked at me and he said, how on earth can anybody have the nerve to ask me such an impossible question? He said, okay, off you go. And I went. I spent the whole afternoon watching a football match. All my other friends were in the classroom doing maths and English and history and stuff. How I got away with that, I don't know. But that brought back those memories. But maybe it was sort of, that I exuded this confidence and this ability to allow other people to let go. And Mr. Jones let me go. Anyway, going back to real letting go. So after a while, that you learn how just to have fun with life, and then leave it alone. There is that little simile of holding up a cup and how heavy it is. What is stress? Why do people feel they're doing too much? Because they don't know how to put things down and really put them down and let it go when you don't have to pick it up. And of course, that I think of I think it's honest to say this, of all the people in this room, I've got the most burdens. But I also know how to, maybe know the most about how to put things down and let them go. So you can just have a good night's sleep. How? And when the mosquitoes aren't there. How? When you haven't got jet lag. How you cannot worry about things. How when it's time to cross my legs and just put my hands in my lap, I can just let go. Forget everything. that is an ability which is worth striving for. But you don't get that through willpower, through wisdom power, through understanding why do I keep doing things? Why do I keep worrying about things? One of the ways is using the Buddhist metaphors and ways of looking at life, like the law of karma. Sometimes when I sit down, I am tired. Been doing stuff. Sometimes when I sit down, go in my cave, there's all these thoughts coming on. I just, been booking an air ticket or sending a letter about the ghost busting conference or something on Gmail, Ghostmail. And sometimes there's other stuff going on in the monastery. So what do? You go in your room, and I look at those first thoughts which go through your mind. They're like echoes of what was happening, in my office just a minute or two ago. But instead of calling them echoes, I call them like old karma. The result of old karma, because I had to exert my brain, I had to do some work. Or, talking to some of the monks on interviews, or the lay people after the meal. It's old karma. It's like still resounding in my brain. But that old karma, I realise that it's here. I can't wave a magic wand and get it to disappear. But what I do know is what I've got right now, in this moment, I'm not going to make new unskillful karma with this. I call it like meditation karma. The ways of regarding whatever is the content of this moment in a way which will create peace later on. I call that striving. Because how I look now is going to create what I strive for, if you like, in the future. Peace, relaxation, stillness, and joy, and more stillness, and nimittas, and deep meditations, and great insights. All those things, how are they created? Striving, but just with really big quotation marks. Not real striving as most people understand it. So, when you're aiming for that, the wisdom power has taught me, after many, many false attempts, how that works. This is what I'm dealing with right now. How can I move this into peace, relaxation, stillness, good health, physical and mental? How can I do that? And of course, make peace, be kind, be gentle. In every moment. So I'm tired. I don't fight, and I don't judge, and I don't never feel guilty or upset. I'm a Buddhist monk. I shouldn't be sleepy in public. I'm Ajahn Brahm. I shouldn't scowl at people. I should be smiling all the time when my photograph is being taken. Sometimes you don't feel good. You say, no, that's enough. I've got to go now. I've got to go toilet. No, holy monks don't go toilet. Can you use your psychic powers and zap it away so you can carry on talking with me? Can you look at that urine in your bladder and just zap? That'd be a good trick, wouldn't it? No. So instead of that, you just whatever. So here you learn just How? This is what you've got right now. This moment. Here we are. I'm going to make good karma with this karma I have now. Sometimes this moment is brilliant vipaka. Great results of the past. And beautiful happiness and energy and nimittas. You close your eyes and we're right back there. Whoa, this is good stuff. But that's all karma. So I've got to make sure I make good karma with this moment. I let it be. Make peace with it. Because I know it's totally out of control. Sometimes it just, by nature, I don't do anything wrong. Sometimes it will just fade away. Just like the Buddha would never do anything wrong. But his jhanas weren't there all the time. He'd have to speak to people, relate to people in the world, get tired, have a sore back. All these things would happen to all beings. But what we have, this is our result of past karma right now. And my job, my duty, my main duty is to make good, wholesome, skillful meditation karma with this moment. So I renounce nekama, renounce control, renounce judging. This is renounce. I'm not a layperson anymore. I don't criticize others. I don't criticize this state of mind. It's here. I'll make peace with it. And I'm kind to it, opening the door of my heart to this, whatever it happens to be. Sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's unpleasant, but it's here. And that's the best I can do with this. And I realized after many years, I can't do any better than that, except making peace with it, renouncing control. It's just nature, nothing to do with me, it's just cause and effect. It's cold, it's hot, it's just this world. I'm not a person who's going to control this world. I'm a person who's going to understand it. So I'm just with this moment, making peace with it, being kind, and this wonderful gentleness. Gentleness. Gentleness is being patient, not getting tight with it. That's not being gentle. Sometimes you can see somebody, you want to force something. Come on, you can do this. Come on. Being gentle. I know that my gentility has increased because even the other day, when one of the workers in the kitchen screwed on the top of my thermos, I couldn't open it. That's how gentle I have become. Don't put any force in it. That's what your upataks are for, your attendants. Let's give them a chance. These days I can't even open a door. You can actually see what happens afterwards with Abhayratana. It's been a long time since I've opened the door. And one of these doors anyway, there's always someone they want to open it for me. No, that's not quite accurate. But anyway, it's nice to have that gentleness. So this moment, right now, it's here. With mindfulness, I'm aware of this, and I'm aware of what I'm doing, or not doing, or how I'm doing it, how I am relating to this moment. And my whole job, nothing more, making peace, being kind, being gentle with this moment. Making good meditation karma. So you're really fed up, you're sick, really sick. What can you do? Make peace, be kind, be gentle. Things are really falling apart in your family, in your life, in your heart. Make peace, be kind, be gentle. That means that this is meditation karma. It doesn't mean when it's time to make my breakfast tomorrow morning, you just let go, make peace, be kind. Well, you can make peace, that's okay, for lunch. Make mushy peace. Be kind to all baked beans. May all peace. No. So, learning just in meditation especially, just to know what's happening. And then, as I was saying to one of the visitors today, we understand how to be free. The two freedoms. The freedom of desire. You can do what you want in your way whenever you want it. And that's where will leads you to. It gives you the promise that if you're strong enough, you're skillful enough, you have enough skillful means and just ways of manipulating, enough sneakiness, that whatever you desire you can get. So what do you want? What would you desire? If you found as you went out of this room the bottle with a genie in it, and you rubbed it, you released the genie from the bottle, and the genie was said, "Thank you for releasing me 3 wishes." What would you say? If you've been listening at all to the Buddha's teaching, you say, "Get back in your bottle." As soon as you have one want, one desire, there's another one. Just, once I get my O levels, then I'll be happy. Once I get my A levels, once I get my degree, once I get the love of my life, then I'll be happy. Once I pay off all my debts, then I'll be happy. Once I cure all my diseases, then I'll be happy. Once I become an Ajahn, and I can tell other people what to do, then I'll be happy. Once I become the work master, then I will get all the healthiest people to do the sweeping, and all the riffraff, they can do all of the weeding and stuff. I don't know. But anyway, that sometimes you think, once I get into power, then I'll be happy. But what happens? When would you get there? You're not happy. There's always something more. Desire is endless. Samsara goes round and round. Going up and down this shore, there's no end to it. When you stop, striving, nimittas, jhanas, this is actually where we get the fake jhanas from wanting, from striving. The real ones come from letting go, disappearing. You don't own them. You're not there. You're gone. That's great signs of the real jhanas. That's the trouble these days, because there's so many people just talk about jhanas. I'm one of the... You've got to do that, talk about them, but there's people who manufacture just weird stuff which isn't jhanas, but the real ones, you vanish. There's no idea of attainment anymore. You're disappearing, vanishing, gone. That's more like it. Because when you go, your will vanishes. That's what's behind all of this will. Where there's an I, there's a will. There's a doer, a wanting, a craving. Where there's an I, there's something where you want to be, and it's not here. It's a problem. The I is never satisfied being here. If the I was satisfied being here, it would vanish, it would stop, it would die. The I is fed with dissatisfaction. It's dissatisfied. That's why it exists. To try and find a place where it can find satisfaction. But it doesn't realise if it finds a place of satisfaction, it has to disappear. It's gone, it's dead, finished. Craving. It's the causing of a sense of self. Sense of self causes a craving. all going round and round, samsara. So if you realise you're not there anymore, yay! You don't have to want anything anymore. Once you realise you don't exist, Ajahn Santuti, you don't have to weigh yourself. There's nothing to weigh anymore. Who are you weighing? Not me. Not my problem. So, that's very deep, that's very heavy. So anyway, little by little we learn how to let go of desires, for goodness sake. That's what we're supposed to be doing. It's not as hard as you think. Just stop. That's a good place for me to stop, isn't it? Okay.